including these backer brackets that'll come in here. Let's just start with the core support. Like I said, this, I'm not sure which side of the core support. You okay? Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Third Coast OBS. Today we're finally going to try and get this truck out of here, or at least prepped, ready to get loaded on a trailer to go to paint. I want to get all this stuff out of my yard and out of my hands so I can just get everything ready to rebuild. Real quick, what I've done today, I didn't want to show y'all. I shot 3 intros in the same outfit with the same paint stains. Guess what this stuff is? POR 15. Yep. I have read though that if you use vegetable oil and let it sit for a little bit, it's going to help break it off. Otherwise, it's going to be a rough few weeks looking like this. I came in real quick, and as best I could, I just tried to paint the frame. There's obviously some spots I couldn't get to. Every time you're painting something like this, you think you got all the dirt and grime off. It's still there. But this isn't a show truck. We're just trying to clean up what we can. We got the top of the rails. We got the inside for the transmission. A little bit over here on this side. The outside we'll get later on. So now the next step for me is going to be reinstalling kind of a rough fit on the core support, get everything together, and try to change out these body mount bushings. I don't know anybody who, if you do check the community tab, I did have a problem with my shipment from Summit, which wasn't actually Summit's problem. It was a energy suspension problem, but they did fix it quickly, but it slowed me down. I just got this stuff in the other day. Basically, when you get a kit, all these parts will come loose. Your instructions are going to show you how to set up your bolts for each position. What I had a problem with, my problem was on position 2, they left out this sleeve, 2 of these sleeves, and they also left out 1 lock nut. So I contacted their customer support. I actually contacted Summit's customer support. They were going to help. They gave me the option though just to deal with energy suspension, and they gave me the guy's number. I called him, very helpful, gave him the part numbers I was missing, and he shipped it. Problem was it came slow mail, USPS, and it took 5 days, it took 8 days, excuse me. But I finally got it in during the week. We're ready to put this together. The only other problem I had with energy suspension was that I have extra parts, and I've kind of scoured over the instructions to make sure I'm not missing something, but I have 2 of these washers and I have no idea where they go. Once I get the core support in with the bushings, that's easy. The next set of bushings are underneath. On each side of the cab, there'll be one at the front of the cab and one at the rear of the cab. Unfortunately, you have to get the carpet up to get the bolts out. The back is not going to be a problem. Well, I say it's not going to be a problem, but we'll see. Coming in behind, you'll just have to come up here, remove a bolt like this on this side and that side to do this body mount bushing. And underneath, I believe it's right about here. We'll figure out how to get this out without making too big a mess. But the body mount bushing towards the front is right here. So that's right on the floorboard of the driver and passenger side. And in the back, the one I just pointed out, is inside the frame rail. Right here at the back of the cab. And we got one right here. This one, not a problem. Driver's side, underneath the gas tank. So we're probably going to have to drop, I'm going to have to drop this gas tank to change that bushing. I don't think it'll be too hard. It's just a lot more work than I was hoping to do, just to change bushings. Let's get to it. Okay, so luckily the instructions are pretty clear cut. Since we're starting with the core support, the whole setup of bolts, washers, lock nuts, the sleeve, the actual mounting bracket, and then where your core support is supposed to go. So we'll put all this down, put the core support down, and start tightening it up. These are 9/16 nuts on both sides here. So it looks like we get to right here, this clipped one. That's what's going to bolt down inside the core support. The core support is sitting down there. Now the only thing I don't like about this setup is everything is round, okay? And in this bracket, it's a hexagon, right? Hex. Well, whatever it is, but it's this shape. So I'm hoping we can pinch it down on this. It'll be fine. You would have thought that they would have at least put that piece in there. I guess we'll start with putting the actual core support in with the body mount bushings. We're going to snug them, but we're not going to go super crazy tight. And then we'll try to fit in everything from there. I don't have high hopes for this. I'm just going to tell you all that right now. Which is that big flat washer with the notch, and then these two. And try to figure out, no, I guess it kind of says that this would face backwards. I guess this flat piece will go towards the back according to the drawing. And that kind of gets us in line to start slowly fab back in from the plate here to, what you doing? Is that a watermelon? So let's try and get this side under same way, okay? Get that in there. Get the sleeve and the bolt fed through. Okay, we're through. Flat part facing towards. Of course, we had a dead battery, but coming back anyway. We have the bushing washer inside to that other washer, spacer, lock nut. With the bushings loosely put in, I'm gonna start trying to put in the top brackets. Let's get set up and do that. Before I tighten these down too much, I'm gonna try to fit them in here. If I remember correctly, there is, ooh, hot. So these two pieces, if y'all remember, are behind the core support and for the headlights. So we'll put these in. And that's going to line up a little bit to help the core support get in. I already got this one in, and I got baggies. So miscellaneous core support, hood bracket to core support. Okay, so we got 8 bolts. Okay, we're just keeping everything loose. Put 4 on here. This bracket, I'm gonna undo the hood prop. Just use the bolt. So, dry fitting. That headlight bracket right behind. 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts here. We're gonna do the 4 for this part, and I'm gonna go grab these 2 bolts. That should cinch it up pretty good. And then I'll come in and I'll do the bushings, supposedly. So let's get this. We're gonna do the exact same thing to the other side. I'll come back when I'm doing the bushings. Okay, we're pretty much dry fit in there. Brackets on loosely. I'll tighten these up. Same thing underneath. You have these 2 bolts underneath. These 4, we'll tighten those up, cinch these up, and I'm probably gonna come in and put a couple of the 10mm bolts in here to kind of bring that up. Core support bushings ready to be tightened. Same thing on this side. This 4, 4, 2, and I'll probably put 2 more just to hold that. So right now we're gonna hit this and and cinch up this guy down here and this guy down here, and that should be the first body mount bushing. So let's get that tightened down. Coming to this side. Okay, good enough. Come this side. Let's snug these two, and we'll snug those two. Well, that's somewhat stable. There's a couple little hiccups here and there, but for a rough end, it's pretty good. So we'll just snug up these headlight parts. Okay, so that is a rough end on the core support. Getting it kind of looking like a truck again. It's pretty good. This side did have its problems. These bolts did not match up very well. It is what it is. It's in there though. It's good enough for now. Let's try to figure out how we can get to the body mount bushings now. Okay, we did a test run on the body mount bushings. I pulled the truck up a little bit farther. Again, we just dry fitted this in and we started messing with the front bushings. We got carpet exposed. That's gonna be one slot, passenger side floorboard. Same thing basically on the driver's side. We've seen the rear. We broke all the bolts loose. This side, passenger side's completely out. When you're doing this, I had to watch a YouTube video. You're gonna have to actually create some sort of pulley. Some of the $500, $600, $700 systems come with these nice little pulley systems. I just went to Home Depot, got a piece of all thread, 7/16 14 thread, and went by AutoZone and got some exhaust adapters. You need a 3-inch ID for the front, and in the back you're actually going to need a little bit smaller, and that will be so well, now that I look at that, the connector's a 3-inch ID, so we're a little bit over 3-inch. So we need a 3-inch ID pipe that'll fit over a smaller opening right here. The coupling won't work. I'm gonna have to cut that piece of pipe because it'll slide in here, and basically you're gonna thread the all thread into it, tighten it down till it pops this off. It pops off because these pieces are pressed in by factory. So once you pull the body mount bushing out, once you pull the top screw from inside the floorboard out, you're left with this underneath, and this is pressed in. So you yank this out with what I did. Like I said, I took a piece of all thread, cut it down, threw a washer on here. I just had a piece of unistrut here, fed it through, tightened it down till it popped loose. Once it pops loose, you're free. Oh. Once it pops loose, you're free completely. You can just lift the body up and get this bushing out. That's what we're gonna do next. I can't do a how-to on this. Obviously, this is just a tear down of the vehicle. So I wanted to show you what it looked like on this side. I'll bring you back when I'm popping off the driver's side, just so you can see the extent of what you got to go through. Right now I'm going to figure out, according to the kit, this is the setup I'm going to need for the front. And when I get to the back, it's going to be a whole nightmare because of that gas tank. And it looks like it's going to rain, and it's getting late, and I'm scared I may not finish this today. But we'll get done what we can today. Let's get set up. I'm going to try and get this done. All right, once again, it's a learning curve. We jacked up the truck, which we really had to get high to get in there. Got the old bushing out, got it out. You have to lift it up high enough to pick this up and go over that shoulder to get out. So once you have to jack this up high enough, you got to get this thing out and over. Meanwhile, you're just worried about smashing your fingers. Slid the new one in with the washer. It sits in. This clips on. We have the whole setup. Now we're not going to tighten up anything till all are installed. Now we move to the back. It's trying to rain on me. Okay, we're about to thread in here, use our makeshift puller, and pop this bushing out. We've already removed the top bolt completely out. That's why you can see in there, that's why we can thread in there. That's key. You loosen up the other side and take one side completely out. I'm starting on the passenger side. So I'm using a piece of unistrut. Washer just in case. Makeshift pulley. Okay, I'm feeding up and let's knock it loose. And I don't want to hear no crap. All I got is chrome sockets in standard. See why I was way over here when I was doing that? It's got some force coming out. There you go. That's the bottom. That is the pressed fitting. And then get to a better spot. The pressed fitting. Alright, now we gotta jack it up, usher out the top one so we can put our other one back in there. I'll get you set up and do that. We're coming in too fast. We got it jacked up. Please don't. Oh my god. Oh shit, I'm scared. Great. I don't want to come out. Man, that was flipped upside down. Oh shit. Okay. Oh, it was terrible. Okay. Okay, we'll put the new bushing in. It's through. Washers on top. Just loading this nice and easy. Which means this. Slide these in. All we got left to do is to put the bottom part on. We've seen everything else. Again, the body lines are not quite matching up, but they will because our paint and body guy has to do that. And because even before we did this, the bed wasn't exactly square. So all that's left, we're gonna come over here, pull that one that's the easy one, change that out, lift, swap, boom. This one is gonna be the hard one. That's the bushing we're gonna have to drop the gas tank for. Let's get at it. If you can change these body mount bushings without dropping that tank, I don't know how. Maybe on a lifted truck or a higher truck, you'd be able to and get a little more clearance, but it was near impossible. I've seen some guys basically loosen up their tank, push it to the side, and kind of worm in. I couldn't even get close to that. Here's one of the tanks we had to take down. The sending unit's all bad anyway. You'll have two fuel lines coming in to the top. I just unclipped this harness. It popped out. There's a grommet fitting here. You can just slide out. Loosened up. This is the neck filler to the where you pump your gas. Undid this hose clamp, loosened it, popped it off. These were the hardest, the two fuel lines. Both of them were the 3/8 fittings, and I had to basically lower it, and then this one came off without a hitch. It wasn't too bad. This one was definitely a pain, but we got them. All that to get to this. I had to peel some stuff back. But your last body mount bushing, right here. Normally, the gas tank, you can see that is actually where the strap, it clips around a little harness. It'll clip in, go around it, and bolt right here. Same thing back here on this tank. and this is your filler neck right here. That little evap thing I was telling you, it's a little grommet fitting. That's where I just popped out. As you can see, the body mount bushing have been right in the way. And then on top of that, this was behind the gas tank. So you would have had to somehow get it out, usher it. I don't know. And this is that little harness that I had to basically pop out. Two little lips here. We unplugged it. All right, let's get this last bushing out right here. Man, that one was torqued. We started bending our pipe. I mean, these are cheap little nuts, but man, it's just, oh, it's hot as a firecracker. It took all of the big Milwaukee to bust it loose. Whew, okay. But it's out, bushing's out. Even started kind of bending my stainless. Yeah, this little guy wasn't making it. Okay. Now, okay. There's the bushing. We're ready to lift up on the cab and try to get this out. Let's get to it. It's the last one, so you always be extra careful on this one. That's where you always get hurt. Okay. Once we got that top bushing slid out, we got everything in order, and put in the bottom piece per instruction. The lower bushing sleeve washer, or what, this is like a spacer, and then that lock nut. We have all 4 corners done, and I believe it doesn't say anywhere what you're supposed to do. We're gonna go 70 foot-pounds, torque them all down, and it's done for now. We still got to take the core support back out whenever it comes back. Oh, I'm sick.